Oh yeah, that's gonna be a great transition. We just kept talking about like sharing names of terrorists and being on a no-fly flight list and how you get out of that. And Kai is like, oh, I got a great story about that.
I actually got a great story because that the first time I went to the United States for a GP, Legacy GP in Seattle, 2015. I was on a storm deck and I had a bye because back in the day you used to get buys for events. And so my second round opponent. And that wasn't the side of it.
Was Osama bin Laden.
Dude, my second round opponent, I look at the match slip, right? No, at the pairing board, and it says Jacob Wilson. And I'm like, dude, are you fucking kidding me, dude? Because he used to be such a pro Rock Delver player back then. Right, and maybe he still is. And then I sit down, and I until I found my seat, I probably shit my pants 2-3 times already, right? And I sit down, and then someone completely different sits down. It's like, and I'm like, dude, I'm supposed to play against Jacob Wilson. He's like,
I'm supposed to play against this pro. What are you doing here?
Yeah,
come on,
dude. And this guy's like, yeah, I know. I am Jacob Wilson. It's like, oh.
Dude, he must get that so often. Like, people are being completely, they're so like, oh, I was so looking forward to playing against a celebrity, and now you show up? It's like, oh.
Yeah.
Man, if I get, paired against Kai Sawatari, and then, I'm like, yes, let's go, and then some random person turns up, shit.
Like another Kai Sawatari, he happened to be, super good versus Painter, for example. Imagine that.
Alternate reality.
I think in the past, maybe you can still do this. I guess not these days. In the past, you could change your name. And if I was him, I would put my last name as Wilson and then in brackets, not the pro or something. So it would show up like that on the scoreboard or something.
Oh, dude, that's hilarious.
Did you at least win?
I did, yeah, I did. But funny enough, that he was also on a Delver deck. He was not on Rock Delver, but he was in a different Delver deck. And
what are the odds? Somebody playing Delver.
But again, he also mentioned that he gets his comment every time, basically. But
I would bet.
But man, that was a scary moment. Holy smokes.
So yeah, that's your turn. Oh, okay. I see. Your story wasn't about terrorism, but sharing about a name with somebody else.
right.
Nice.
Yeah, I was just telling a story about how I had a client who couldn't fly, and he was as good as sports as you can be about it, I guess. But yeah, Singapore Airlines, try again, because that's not cool. Anyway, guys, and also everybody listening, hello and welcome to Everyday Eternal number 158, your favorite, most deceptively named bi-weekly Legacy podcast. Today's show is brought to you by our brand new Patreon, David Putz. And if you want to support the running of the show directly, you can support us on patreon.com/everydayeternal. And we are really wanted to get this episode out right before Eternal Weekend, so we can get in some last minute recommendations, maybe some new tech that we came about. And I think it's already been 2 weeks. So guys, what have you been up to lately? I think last time I was complaining about not winning a lot. So how's it been for you ever since?
With you not winning? Oh, it's just another normal day,
know. Well, I didn't want to start out with myself first, so I was trying to push you guys ahead.
I'll go. So, I've been ill the last week. I don't know if you hear it in my voice. I've had I've got a blocked ear, and I've got a cold for over a week now. So last week I went to Wales, which was lovely, long weekend, and we went caving, so proper caving, crawling through small gaps and climbing up rocks with a waterfall falling on top of you. And proper caving. It was great fun, real good experience. But
what they call spelunking or something.
Spelunking, exactly.
That really crazy thing where you go underground into the dark and you get stuck.
Oh, there was one bit where we were so far deep that there was no sunlight breaking through, so everyone turned off their torches and it was just pure darkness. It was amazing because you never get that. Me? Pure black darkness.
But did you do that for the first time ever?
Yeah.
Okay.
So super exciting. It was so cool. Your brain does this weird thing where in this pure black, you wave your hand in front of you and you can see it because your brain is telling you that you are waving your hand. But if someone else does it, you can't see it because it's pure black. So it's you're seeing it but not seeing it. It's weird. It's like a phantasm. So
did you have a guide or somebody who knew what they were doing?
Yeah, we had 2 guys that knew what they're doing, and then it was a bigger group of 8 of us total, so 4 of us. But it was great fun. So we had to properly go through a water that's right up to almost your nose deep and stuff. And then getting out, it was pouring with rain, so we had to go out. We had to come in and go out a different way than usual.
So dangerous. That's how every horror story starts. And then it started raining and the cave started filling up.
It was raining already, so we had to be lifted down / climb down like a 50-meter rock-faced like hole to get in. And then usually you can just walk in and out of this big cave entrance. But this time then we had to go out one by one. So it took like 45 minutes and you had to literally climb up a steep rock face with ropes, of course.
Dude,
with
this is crazy.
with a waterfall like falling on top of you because of all the rain from above. So it was really crazy. It was an amazing experience, but I've been ill for over a week now and I've got a blocked nose, which is like blocked ear, which is very disorientating and hard to concentrate. So I've had a bad week back, but I've had a great weekend before.
Did they make you like sign some kind of waiver about like, oh, if you die, it's just like that's on you?
I think my dad just signed it for all of us before going.
If he dies, he dies.
If he dies, he dies.
Yeah,
but,
in the wilds, man.
But it was so cool. It was really intense because usually, as I said, the big cave entrance you can just walk in and out of and then go deeper. Usually you would like stop and have a lunch break and then come back in. But they were like, no, because it'll take an hour to get everyone out and then an hour to come back in again, like lifting everyone up and down and climbing and stuff. And it was dangerous anyway. So we just went to like one of the harder bits of the cave, they said. So we went through some things that like every single person in the group said, oh shit, I'm stuck. Like every single one. So it was so tight.
Oh my god. Isn't that like the most terrifying thing if like when you're stuck and you can't really move?
Yeah, I'm a little bit claustrophobic as well, but it's counteracted by my love for like just doing things that I haven't done before, or like a sense of adventure, cool. I guess. So that's cool. I was like, I know I'm going to be scared in there. I was a bit apprehensive at the beginning, but when you're in there, it's so cool. Like, I don't know. There was like one bit where you have to climb straight down head first into like a 2-3 meter drop, but the hole is so small that you wiggle yourself down, and by the time your legs are free, you have like being able to like touch the ground with your arms or something. It was wild. It was like being born, basically coming down out of this thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, when you get pooped out in the universe.
Dude, this is like this is giving me serious PTSD. Have you heard about like the what's it called, like Nutty Putty Cave? Or something?
Yes, of course.
This is so strange.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I've seen that, and I didn't want to get into that position. But
it just reminded me when you said it's like being born, because they have like the Swan Cave, which is like called the birth canal, and like you have to push. Yeah. Okay, yeah. I was expecting some magic stories, but this is something else.
I also went hiking in Wales. It was absolutely beautiful and lovely.
Dude, you're living the life. Seriously.
Yeah, so it was really cool walking with dogs. Otherwise, I did play some Magic. We had LLM yesterday. I guess we can talk about that a little bit later when we get to in the show notes.
We can actually jump into that right away if you want to.
Yeah, really cool LLM. We went back to our old venue where LLM was for years, which is like a pub near Euston, King's Cross and stuff, which is kind of nice to be back. And everything was great. We had a really cool top 8 again. It was won by Enrico with his 4-color beans. This deck's pretty good.
Something like 40, 45 people or something?
Yes, 40... I think 45 signed up, and then we had 42 playing, or 43 playing. So I think I forgot to sign myself up.
They saw the crowd, they were like, "Oh my god, this is too scary."
Yeah.
Like,
no, I actually it was 42, and then just before we pressed start, I was like, "Oh shit, I didn't actually sign myself up."
Oh, I guess I get the buy.
Yeah, imagine like 3 people just being stuck in a cave or something, you know?
yeah, they were probably stuck in the cave.
Yeah, they got a time extension.
Yeah, so that was cool. So last minute. I'm just pulling up the top 8 to say what it was, because
I think I linked it in the show notes.
Did you?
Yeah. Oops. Actually, I didn't. No, I only linked your deck list.
My deck, cool.
Don't want my deck. That was like my whole focus of attention, because it takes like 2 or 3 brains to comprehend that deck building.
Oh yeah, the deck's cool. I'll get to it in 1 second. Bear with me. I've got the top 8 right here. So it was won by Enrico with 4-color beans control. I don't have the actual deck list yet, but I know I saw St. Catherine in there, so it's at least cool with that. So something a bit different. Second place was Yatka with Blue Black Scam. Third place, Alex Ria with 8 casts, but it's like with patchworks now. It's kind of, everyone's
I think that's
playing
pretty much a standard build now, right?
Yeah. Diego, my nemesis, with Jeskai Stoneblade. This guy, he beat me in the Swiss and the quarterfinals. Spoilers, with Jeskai Stoneblade, so I need to sell my collection twice.
I was following it along on Twitter. Like, when you first lost to him, you were like, okay, selling my collection. Then you made top 8. Oh, rebuying the collection right now.
I got my collection again and then beat him again. He played it very well. Back to Basics is a hell of a card against the deck that doesn't have any basics. But he sequenced everything very well, so fair plays. Then we had... That was this is going in order, so first, second, blah, blah. And then the quarterfinalist is Ibi, who's playing Mono Black Beseech, kind of like what...
Does Ibi have like a last name?
Ibi Hussein.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. He like similar to what Yuda Frantisek won with at the Four Seasons Invitational.
Oh, the mono black?
Yeah, exactly. Then we have Eugenio Anibaldi on 4-color depths, so like splashing red for Minsk and Boom and Pyroblast and black for Bowmasters, and then the rest is usual stuff. 7th is me on Garuda Cauldron Bomberman, which we'll get to in a second.
That's quite a mouthful.
And then Daniel Jovic on 4-color control, which looked like your kind of normal stuff. I saw rings. I don't think I saw beans, so there we have it. So I played a really cool deck, which we talked about.
But where did you get it from, right? I think you tweeted about that you blatantly stole it from somebody.
Yes, it's from Canacan. So anyone that likes Bomberman
of course.
will know Canacan. Yeah. But to my credit a little bit, this is what I talked about on the cast like 2 casts ago. So I was talking about Agatha's Soul Cauldron with Goblin Engineer and Phyrexian Devourer. So I was messing around with tons of different shells. And then I tweeted it out, and then Canacan said, "Oh, I didn't think of Goblin Engineer." Then they started playing with it and have done really well. I think it was Eternal Party they did very well at recently. They top 8'd, and they've top 8'd 1 or 2 challenges with it.
1 or 2 challenges, okay.
It could just be one.
The thing is, like, I'm trying. I kind of want to introduce the audience to the deck, but I don't even know where to start. Like, I guess the core idea is like it's a Bomberman trial.
Yes, I can give a run through of it. So, so basically, the morning before I was going, I couldn't decide between this and a mono blue Cauldron, Agatha's Soul Cauldron shell. And I tried a league with the blue one, and it just felt a little bit off. It did go like 4-1, but I felt like they were kind of lucky wins here and there. So
it's like kind of was like, no, this is not good enough for me.
Anyway, so this deck, it's a Bomberman deck. So it has 4 Oryx Salvages, 3 Lion's Eye Diamonds, and 3 Walking Blisters in the main, and then it has 4 Khans, and then the 4th of each of those in the sideboard. So that's a pretty standard Bomberman package. And then it doubles up on combos with 4 Goblin Engineer, which does help the Bomberman combo because you can go and search for like a missing combo piece, which is quite nice. And it has 4 Agatha's Soul Cauldron. So anyone that doesn't know Agatha's Soul Cauldron, it's being played quite a lot in Modern and
you see me raising my hand?
So it's a 2-mana legendary artifact, because I did play 2 yesterday. So it's a legendary artifact, and it has all creatures with 1/1 counters on have all activated abilities of creatures exiled with Agatha's Soul.
All your creatures, right?
All your creatures, sorry, yeah. And it has tap, exile a card from a graveyard. If it was a creature card, you put a 1/1 counter on a creature you control. And obviously, as you exile creatures, you're going to give your creatures in play with 1/1 counters on the activated ability of what you exile.
So it's basically like main deck graveyard hate. You got that also like infinite combos.
Yeah. So the hate actually came up a lot. I didn't play against Reanimated, but I played against Scam, and I just didn't get Reanimated when I had one in play and stuff, and I had to deal with it. And I was exiling kind of Mystic Sanctuary targets against Control for later in the game and stuff, and I stopped a Snapcaster, I think, and it does help some things. Like, people don't realize they can exile any card, so that's quite nice. So with that, the combo is you have 1 Phyrexian Devourer, which you go and search with Goblin Engineer. This is a 6-mana 1/1 artifact creature. It has the hilarious ability where if its power is 7 or greater, you sacrifice it. And then the activated ability, which is relevant because it will gain it from Agatha's Soul Cauldron, is exile the top card of your library. The creature gets that many 1/1 counters equal to its mana cost. So if you have a Phyrexian Devourer under the Agatha's Soul Cauldron, and then all of your creatures have the ability to exile cards from your deck and get really big. And because Cauldron puts a counter as exiles as well, your Goblin Engineer that searched for it can very quickly become, 20/20 easily.
Okay, so to go about this slowly. So you get your, let's say you have got the Soul Cauldron, you got your Goblin Engineer, you put the Devourer into the graveyard.
Yeah.
So now the Goblin Engineer can exile the top card of your library. Oh, because it doesn't have the clause about having to be sacrificed at power.
No, because that's not triggered. So a very common kind of play pattern common play pattern is like turn 1 Goblin Engineer off like a Pedal or something, or a Mox Opal with some other artifacts. You search for the Devourer, and then you play turn 2 Agatha's Soul Cauldron. Oh, you search for the Phyrexian Devourer with the Engineer, I should say. And then turn 2 Agatha's Soul Cauldron, play it, tap it, exile the Devourer, put the counter on the Goblin Engineer, and now you can exile cards from your library until it gets really big, and you can attack, and that's a turn 2 kill. Obviously, opponent can play removal, or they can play graveyard hate, but it's an avenue. So to play around removal, you also have Walking Ballista, which is part of your Bomberman combo. Now, Walking Ballista already has 1/1 counters on it. It also can remove a 1/1 counter to ping something. So if you have an Agatha's Soul Cauldron and play and you've exiled the Phyrexian Devourer, and then you have in play, or you just play a Walking Ballista with 1 counter on it.
Slow down. It's so hard.
Okay.
This is really complicated.
It is quite complicated. So the deck has some really cool lines. So just to recap, if you have an Agatha's Soul Cauldron in play, and you've already used it to exile a Phyrexian Devourer, so all your creatures with 1/1 counters can have the ability to exile a top card of your library, and you put that many 1/1 counters on it. Now, if you play a Walking Ballista, or if you already have a Walking Ballista in play with 1 counter or more, it doesn't matter, you can then just shoot the opponent out, and you are basically immune to removal spells.
Because you can always just like...
If they play a removal spell, you just exile, carry on in advance.
Shoot so response, that's good.
Exactly. So it's very hard to interact with. So those are the 2 combos in the deck.
So if I'm the opponent, which is like for our audience, that's much more likely.
Yeah.
What's the best spot to actually use the removal? I guess when the Soul Cauldron, either the tap ability or like if it's on the stack in the first place.
So the removal the deck is pretty good against removal if it's just creature removal, because you're kind of forced to remove the Goblin Engineer first, because that's the one that's usually going to get the counter because it's search for the Devourer. But I can then, so the deck plays Ingenious Smith, which is 2 mana, 1 white for a 1/1. When the ETB is, you look at the top 4 cards of your library, you can reveal an artifact to put it into your hand. But importantly, whenever an artifact comes into play under your control, you put a 1/1 counter on it.
It gets counters. Dude, this is like Synergy Deluxe.
Synergy. That ability only triggers once a turn, so it's whatever. But importantly, it gets a 1/1 counter, so it's going to have the ability as well. So that's another way of doing it. And then you also just make Saga constructs and put tokens on them as you exile more creatures with Soul Cauldron. So the best thing to remove, if you can, is the Cauldron itself, because the creatures only have the abilities if the Cauldron's in play. It doesn't grant them as an everlasting thing. So if you exile the Devourer and then you remove the Cauldron, that combo is kind of gone. Some decks can play 2 Devourers or more. It's this one play 1, but it's the deck is very resilient.
You could still Karn for it if you wanted to, because there's also 4 copies of Karn.
Yep, true, absolutely true. I probably just didn't think of that in my games yesterday, but I guess it didn't come up actually. But if you can remove the Cauldron, that's usually the best thing to do. If there's already a Cauldron with the Devourer and Walking Ballista, you can't really beat it. And otherwise, it's quite a resilient combo to just creature removal, because you do keep playing creatures. But Walking Ballista doesn't need to attack, but the rest do need to attack, so that's an important distinction. But,
that's true.
But also, if you just play a Ballista and it gets countered, then you can just remove the Ballista with the Cauldron, then all your creatures can ping as well. So
dude, I would have totally missed that.
Yeah, there's a lot of synergy in the deck. It's really, really cool. I'll just walk you through the rest of the pieces.
It's a little bit of a headache to play against this, honestly.
Yeah, I had some really cool lines, and I'm sure I missed some as well. So to round it out, there's the 4 Cauldrons. There's 4 Chalice of the Void, because there's no 1-drops, and you're playing 8 Soul Lands. Spoiler. There's 3 Lur's Pedal and 2 Mox Opal as some more acceleration. There's 2 The One Ring. They weren't great for me yesterday, but it's a very fast mana deck, so it kind of makes sense. And then the rest is, as we said, 4 Karn, 3 Ballista, 3 Ingenious Smith, 4 Salvages, 4 Goblin Engineer. The mana base is pretty straightforward. 4 City of Traders, 4 Ancient Tomb, 4 Cavern of Souls, 4 Plateau, 4 Urza's Saga, and 3 Rustveil Bridge. That's comes to play tapped, but it's an artifact land that taps for red or white and indestructible.
It's the plateau that's indestructible. I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
And artifact land. Okay. Is there any overlap on creature types? I would guess human or maybe artificer.
No. So there's human for the Salvages and the Ingenious Smith. There's Goblin, because there's 4 Goblin Crater Maker in the sideboard with Goblin Engineers. But that's it. It's a bit.
I guess that's one canonist.
There's 3
canonists
as well in the sideboard, sorry, which is human as well.
Yeah. Dude, I was looking at this deck list the entire time, thinking that all your sideboard is also in the main deck, and I was like, and then he's got 4 Erlingers and 4 Crater Maker in the sideboard. Oh no.
So the sideboard very quickly is there's a Gyruda, because the deck is all evens, of course. So it's a trade-off, because Phyrexian Dragon Engine and Fable would be very good in the deck. But Gyruda is kind of is a payoff for when you have Salvages and Lion's Eye Diamond, but nothing else. You can make infinite blue mana, and then you can play the Gyruda, get it from the Companion Zone, and then that could mill a combo piece, like a Ballista.
Oh, that gives you a pretty good shot at winning the game. Though.
Exactly. And it's just a free 6/6. So I think it's worth playing Gyruda. Then there's...
it's also Demon Kraken. I mean, that pushes it over.
I won my win in by playing Cavern named Kraken. I think maybe I named Demon actually. I named Demon. Demon's cooler. Cavern named Demon, then I won a race against Scam with it.
So great.
The sideboard.
What do you do against like the tempo deck? Oh, I got this like 6 mana creature. I have to play 3 mana for to get it in the first place. Trust me.
It was like 4 mana because I had some soul lands, but yeah. Then there's some Karn targets. There's a Ballista, a Lion's Eye Diamond, and a Ensnaring Bridge and a Lattice. I almost sided the Ensnaring Bridge in one game before realizing that turns off Garuda, so don't do that. 3 Canonist, full Crater Maker, and a really cool idea that's just completely Canacans is 3/4 Theolingus because it's even mana cost, so you can still play it.
That's cute.
And Crater Maker is really cool because it's an activated ability, so you can exile it with Cauldron and use your other creatures to kill stuff. Pretty cool interaction. But
that honestly, that looks like a lot of fun. Like a lot of fun.
So my thoughts on the deck is it is a ton of fun. Like I did some really wild plays. People had no idea what was going on. It's incredibly hard to play against, even if you know what's going on. If you don't know what's going on, people just really just said, look, I don't know what's going on. I'm going to try and make a play and see if it works. So it's got the rogue element. It felt a bit inconsistent. It was, you've got like 4 Karn, 4 salvages, and 2 rings as like high mana things. You've got a fair bit of fast mana. It was prone to mana flood and screw. You could draw the wrong piece of the combo. Both combos use the graveyard and artifacts activated abilities, so it's weak to graveyard hate and like null rods. It's pretty resilient to meltdown, which is nice, but otherwise the deck is cool. It's kind of like, I would say, lower B tier, middle. It's got some very powerful interactions and can just kill people very quickly. Some games you just go turn 1 Chalice, turn 2 Karn or combo, and you just get them.
So I was wondering, like when you say it's too inconsistent, there's like 3 LEDs and 4 salvages. Is there like a world where we remove those 7 cards in the combo and we add something that adds consistency and maybe also wins without going through the graveyard?
Yeah, potentially.
Like for example, like you put like I'm just like spitballing. You put 3 4th Erlingers in the main. You put like, okay, I don't know if we get rid of the Garuda. You said it was really good, but if I didn't know that, I would. It's only good with
salvages.
You say what?
It's only good with the salvages combo.
Okay, so we could actually put in, let's say, 4 Fables and 3 4th Erlingers. I don't know if that's like a lot of mana, but I mean, we're also cutting a 4 mana creature.
Yeah, I guess so. The Bomberman combo felt better than the Soul Cauldron combo.
Oh, did
honestly.
it? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Soul Cauldron combo, while it's good against removal, like it still uses the graveyard as well, and it's kind of weaker to surgical extraction because Bomberman it's cooler. But also the combo pieces do less on their own. So against Jeskai, I won a game by, well, I almost won game 3 as well by using salvages to just rebuy a countered Chalice and then to rebuy a Walking Ballista that they tried to swords and stuff.
That's sick.
You can rebuy like Lotus Petal, and in the actual in the pure Bomberman lists, you'd be rebuying Baubles and stuff. So salvages is actually quite a good card. It's also worth mentioning salvages is an activated abilities, which you can excel with Cauldron and combo with something else, which is quite cool. So I think the amalgamation, like the meeting of 2 combos, is just like you're accepting that you're weak to like a plethora of hate, and you hope that the power of Saga plus Karn and like Chalice can just fight through these.
The whole format is so addicted to artifacts these days. It's so crazy.
Yeah.
It's like all about artifacts.
It's a tough time to play this deck. There is 4 Crater Makers in the sideboard to like hopefully kill the Null Rods, and you know you are quite good against Meltdown. You don't play that much fast mana, and you have indestructible artifact lands and stuff. It's pretty good there, but yeah, it's a really fun deck. I would expect to play in a league and go 3-2 fairly often, and with very good play. Like Kanakan is just the absolute god of Bomberman. I think with tight play you can do very well with it. Really fun.
So is that gonna be like a cool name for the deck?
Okay. I don't know. Obviously my name is terrible.
I call it one hell of a pile.
One hell of a pile. We'll see if Twitter
if that's
decides.
6.
yeah.
So what happens if you accidentally draw that Phyrexian Devour?
It sucks.
Is it as bad as drawing up?
I mean, you can pay it for you pay 6 mana and then you go to town for 1 a turn.
Yeah, you can pay 6 mana or you can discard it to LED. Which
like
actually comes up quite.
Are you seriously telling me to pay 6 mana for a 1/1 and hope that it doesn't get exiled by Swords Plowshares or something?
Well, no,
you can get a bunch of life if you.
No, you'll just kill it yourself. In response to swords, you exile your deck until it's got 7 power, then you sacrifice it.
Oh, that's cute. It has
you showed them.
Yeah, it has like a built-in time bomb. That's cool.
Yes.
And that's like a self-destruction system.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you're unlucky, you literally like exile, I don't know, like all your other win conditions or something.
Yeah. I had
okay, that's Karn. Okay.
I think the wildest play I had was against Post, where I had my only untapped land was a Saga. I had an LED in play and a Soul Cauldron untapped, and my opponent goes to Force of Vigor, my LED, and my Soul Cauldron end of turn. The Saga's on 2. And in response, I sacrificed my LED, discarding the Devourer and 1 or 2 random cards, used the mana from the LED to make a construct off the Saga, and then used the Soul Cauldron to exile the Devourer in response and make a 25/25 construct. Just out of nowhere. And they're like, oh shit, I didn't see that coming.
I guess you can do that, yeah.
So my lovely opponent goes to concede. And I'm like, hold on. This is the end of my turn. You have a draw step. And so they draw and play Ulamog and exile it. But
gosh.
It was fun. Yeah.
Oh man.
So yeah, really fun deck. I do, if you're a fan of like artifacts, if you're a fan of, weird artifact combos, absolutely play this deck. It's very powerful. You will do well. I don't think it's amazing, but it's really good. It's really fun as well.
Awesome. So we're definitely going to link it in the show notes. And if you ever go to stream it, definitely hit me up and post it to the Discord. Because I want to see that deck in action.
I've played the deck in a few leagues, and playing the Bomberman combo online is just so tough.
Oh, that's so annoying, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you could do show matches or something if you want to. Like, I'm always down for that.
Half the people can see to it, which is nice. So
Yeah. I mean, it's also their time, right?
Yeah.
And
true.
Yeah, I guess that works.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah,
that's my bit. Cool.
So Kai,
Kai's got the best story.
Kai's got the best story because I posted a couple of screenshots.
Oh my goodness, dude.
So good.
Dude, I almost forgot about this challenge from 8.
That's why I put in the screenshots, dude. So actually, I'm gonna tell the story. So one evening, Kai randomly messages us on our like everyday eternal like boomer Facebook chat. Guys, why are we still using that? Like we can use like WhatsApp. I don't know. Is it legal to use WhatsApp in the UK? You guys also use WhatsApp, right?
Yeah, of course.
Of course, like everybody does. Okay, so Kai messages us and he's like, "Yo, guys, I just made top 8 with Doomsday," and he's like, and we're like, "Good luck," and then Kai posts, "Yo, quarterfinals is beans 4 color. Call it a buy." Ha ha.
That's not how I laugh, but yeah, close enough.
That's pretty close, I think. So 15 minutes later, we get another message from Kai. Like nothing happened in between. He's like, "Oh wait, hold on, fuck!" Capital letters. He posts a screenshot. "I lost that game. Lol. Gosh, this happens every time I call this matchup a bye." And you dropped out.
And you see the screenshot with me, who has successfully resolved an Emrakul, the Eon's Thorn, with double Force Will backup, a Cavern of Souls, a Thassa's Oracle, and a Spell Pierce in my hand versus a 4-color control.
I have no idea how you lost that.
And
it's quite impressive, honestly.
Dude, thank you. I just lost that game for the very first time, and that just blew my mind. I don't know, like every time you call a deck a buy, like you keep losing to it, and it's just bad karma, but it happens every time. So for beginners, basically what Doomsday does versus 4-color control is like since they have the whole range of hate versus Doomsday, right? Like be it dress down, endurance, counter spells, pyroblast, what have you. All these things combined, you go super slow as a Doomsday player post Doomsday, and you play things like Cavern of Souls, obviously, but also things like Sheldog Isle Emrakul, because that's completely sidesteps endurance and dress down, right? It's a little soft to Fairy Time Raveler and Wasteland, but like you basically you make your opponent have everything. And the pile also consists of multiple Force of Wills, a Thassa's Oracle, and just all the tools, basically. And
apparently not all the tools.
Dude, and this was the first time I played against control deck with what's it called? Leyline Bonding.
And Legacy Savior.
Oh my goodness! And did you guys remember Wizards of the Coast even made that announcement of, hey, we don't make any changes because we believe that Leyline Binding's gonna,
bring balance to Legacy.
Yeah, and I was like back then I was like what the fuck are you talking about, right? Like no one plays that card ever, and that was even before Beanstalk. So and now I got completely crushed. I did not think about Leyline Binding being able to exile Emrakul, the Eon's Thorn. So I got an extra turn, which was really nice, but with no dude, it didn't really do anything. And And then later, and then I ended up having still Cavern of Souls and Thassa's Oracle and double Force of Will backup. And and I go with an empty library. I go Cavern of Souls, Thassa's Oracle. Opponent goes Dress Down response. I force, they blast. I force, they veil, and I literally lost that game.
Wait. The thing is, Kai, I could have sworn that 2 years ago. You guys remember when there was this allegedly South Korean high roller who sponsored like a lot of like quote unquote grudge matches in Legacy, like your match against Callum, for example, that was sponsored, right?
Oh yeah.
And there was a match that Brian Cobalt, Russian Roll, played, and I thought he played against you, but he could have also played against Max Torsion. I'm not sure which one it was. It was a Doomsday player.
It was me. It was
you, and dude. Literally, that was 2 years ago, and you literally lost the very same way, except for Leyline Binding. Like when I watched, like I think it was like pretty close in the end, like match wise. But every time Doomsday lost, Doomsday got to resolve a Doomsday, and what I took away from that 2 years ago was that like the 4-color deck is actually happy seeing Doomsday resolve. And I think you back then even stopped doing the Emrakul thing, and I don't remember why exactly, but there was a reason. So this is like giving me some serious flashback, because I maybe this is just like the weirdest deja vu effect or something, but I could have sworn that 2 years ago that matchup played out exactly the same, with Doomsday resolving Doomsday every single time and like more than 50% still losing.
Oh yeah, like in general, people, it almost doesn't matter what deck you're on. Like people try to be as control-y as possible after Doomsday, right? Like they try to disrupt the Doomsday play as much as they can, even after Doomsday, and just try to just delay the game. But what you probably should do instead is just try to win, because sometimes Doomsday players go really slow after Doomsday, sometimes, and they want to have like some extra protection, some discard spells, some counter magic, maybe the Cavern of Souls. All these things delay the actual kill, right? And I had it a few times where an opponent untaps and casts a 4th Eolingas for X3, and I die.
That happened so much to me, dude. I did that so much with Painter.
I had that just like a few nights ago playing a Initiative League, and they go turn 2 Doomsday or something. I'm like, 4th Eolingas for 3. Hope that you put like 2 Street Race in your pile, and they just concede.
This is such a demoralizing way to lose a game. Because, dude, I put like at least a minute or 2 of my brain power into this, and you just untap and tap your stupid mana to cast that stupid new spell.
Like having watched your stream, a minute or 2 doesn't really amount too much. I was watching you yesterday, right? You got the top 16 in yesterday's challenge. I think there was one Doomsday pile where you were like thinking for like 10 minutes almost.
Oh yeah, just okay. Because I don't do this in I don't do this in paper, but in Magic Online, imagine if you take like 10 minutes. Oh my goodness, dude!
It's like chat box. Someone like, I'll come back later.
And you go like, I got this.
Which extra turn is this? 0 still. Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness. But that So
because
are you happy
with Doomsday?
Well, that game, that top 8 quarterfinal game, that really gave me a lot of headaches. And Martin Nielsen and I, like we've been brewing on Doomsday for fucking ever, I think. And a few weeks later, we just came up with an incredible new tech that beats exactly this scenario. And this is brand new, guys, and it's Boseiju, Who Endures, in the sideboard. And what this card does...
Oh my god. I am never going to financially recover from this.
Actually, I don't know. Is that position worth a lot of money? I have no idea, dude. I feel so privileged. I'm so stupid.
It's not as expensive.
I just wanted to use that.
Okay. Dude, have you ever Boseju'd a Leyline Bonding which holds an Emrakul Dion's Thorn? Dude. Not too bad, huh? Not too bad.
Where are you destroying the Leyline Binding?
What do you mean?
Because there's a Emrakul under it.
So you're letting the trigger resolve.
Oh,
so the Emrakul's under it.
Yeah, exactly. And then I blow it up.
You don't want to do that.
Oh, wait, what's that?
If you kill assume you're taking a second turn, and then you're going to attacks. If you destroy the Leyline Binding with the trigger on the stack, it'll never exile the Emrakul, so you get to attack.
Because it's like not. I think we keep talking about this because it's not the Oblivion Ring clause, right?
No, it's not. You're welcome, Kai.
They fixed it like a decade ago, but I still keep thinking about Oblivion Ring. But they already printed like Banishing Light and Leyline Binding, and in my head it's still
new
like
templating.
Oblivion Ring.
So like it's a very common thing in the Leyline Binding mirrors. If you a Leyline Binding, the first one won't exile something, etc. So yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So Kai, make
so
sure
smart, dude. You just made the text so much better.
your text even better. Yeah, there you go.
That's awesome. But the other cool thing what Boseiju does is it also destroyed stress down, and that's even more important than destroying the leyline binding, because if they want to get rid of the Emrakul, the thing is like a lot of the times. With that extra turn, I don't even have enough attacks with Emrakul to actually kill my opponent.
Nice. I would say
because you deck out first.
Yeah, I deck out first because because you go Shellrock Isle. That's usually the top card of your pile. You exile the 4th card, which is Emrakul, and then you have 3 cards left. And then you pass the turn. Opponent passes back or whatever, and then you cast the Emrakul after you drew the middle card of your pile, and it gives you an extra turn. So you take another turn, draw. Basically, you have only 2 cards left in the pile.
You can't beat 31 life, or you're you drawing 1 card.
You can't beat 31 life, or like the opponent delaying the attack with something.
Exactly. So
that's where killing the villain with the trigger on the stack is going to be very important as well.
Exactly.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, totally.
Also, like, I want to see something where they go like Uro, Swords of Plowshares, my Uro. It's like, dude, your pile can't beat this.
Yeah, true, actually. What I would say about this plan, though, is for leyline binding, it makes sense, but I'd worry that, like, they probably side them out. Probably. I guess maybe not in this match here, but it's the kind of card that's just going to be in their hand in multiples until late game, until this comes up. So there's a very good chance they have a second one. And it being only 1 mana, like, it might just still have the second one. But Dress Down, they're less likely to have multiples because they just play less, and it costs twice as much mana. So I can see killing Dress Down coming up more than binding, actually.
So the listener may ask, like, Kai, why aren't you playing like an Abrupt Decay, for example, which is basically the same thing? Well, there is
doesn't kill them binding to start.
No, dude. No. Close enough, dude. But there's this card called... Dude, there's a card called Veil of Summer, dude.
Yeah, nice.
Veil of Summer. Boseiju gets past Veil of Summer. And that is like... That just blew my mind.
You're so good.
You guys are too smart for your own good. This is like scary stuff.
Oh, but that was the only topic we had to solve. So, like, we had a lot of...
everything else is solved. Like, the Demo matchup is still abysmal, but, we solved this problem.
I like it a lot, though, because you're already quite happy to play green. I know blue-black is kind of fairly stock, but green adds a lot. And, like, Fuzz 65? Mm-hmm. He plays green a lot, and he does very well with it. So, like, you're not unhappy to go into green. And I assume you just play 1 Boseiju, and it doesn't take up a lot because you just put it into the pile.
That's exactly. Yeah. It's a single slot. It also adds up really nicely as an additional land if you need it. But yeah, like I was so off green or so off any third color because you need to maximize on blue and black mana on this deck. But holy smokes, Veil of Summer is good. I mean, I just
Veil of Summer is like one of the biggest influences on the format right now, at least for me as well, right, with Painter. But I'll get to that in a moment.
Yeah, like you basically need Veil of Summer right now because otherwise you just completely get run over by Scam and other decks. Like even Hymn to Torok sees play these days. So
I mean, it's also pretty good against Doomsday. I mean, yeah, we're already talking about that, I guess. Did you know? I want to say something smart. Dude, you know what I want to do? I want to try like a podcast about a different card game, pretend that I know it really well, and then I try to like make it seem so like nobody notices that I have no idea what I'm talking about.
You're doing pretty well already.
Yeah, it's not a bad.
Sorry, I'm just taking the piss out of you guys constantly.
Yeah, I've been keeping it up for 10 years, right?
Yeah.
That's why I got you guys on the show now. But Kai, you're not playing in Eternal Weekend, right? You're busy signing a lot of stuff. But would you play Doomsday in Eternal Weekend?
So yesterday when I streamed the Legacy Challenge, spoiler alert, I made top 16, which was a nice record, but definitely not peak Magic. I told everyone on stream that this Bug Doomsday deck with Boseiju in the sideboard and Veil of Summers and even a single copy of Peak in the main deck.
Oh, come on, really?
Dude, yeah, it's like a support. It's like a support wheel.
Didn't you call that a crutch or something?
Dude, it's so bad most of the time, but
of course it is.
But I can appreciate it when a player says like the hidden information is worth so much. I'm willing to play the Peak. I can appreciate that.
Dude, I had a player who...
I mean, I wouldn't play it in Burn or something.
Dude,
but,
I got Peak Force of Will already, so this card is definitely worth it.
Wait, you got Peak Force of Will like as part of a Doomsday pile or something?
No. I got a Peak like even before Doomsday, seriously.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, here's the thing. What does that make you think as a Doomsday player?
Well, so they killed me a few turns later with double Flusterstorm, which I didn't know about. So
But that makes
you know,
even less sense than that they would fight over the peak.
no, because usually Doomsday players protect Doomsdays with, let's say, like a Dazes or Force of Wills maybe. Sometimes they have like a Thoughties effect, but Thoughties is really not that common anymore. You might see like a copy or two maybe, but Flusterstorm, like you can't really Force of Will a Flusterstorm. That's the thing, right? And my opponent wanted to basically hide the information that they have 2 Flusterstorms in hand, and I had like a backup Force of Will, but it didn't really do anything.
Okay, is this just the next step where people play like Flusterstorm against Veil of Storm? Seriously, I want to say like we've been through this like 3 years ago.
Yeah, kind of, but they just keeps coming
coming
back.
back.
Yeah, it just keeps coming back. Also, I gotta note at this point that control decks these days are absolute terrible versus combo decks. Like if you're a combo player, you're probably more than happy to play against any of those Beanstalk decks because they are not ready for combo in general.
Especially in the quarterfinals of our Legacy Challenge.
God damn it.
No, I get what you
Yeah.
said. Dude, I'm excited. Like, do you think like a lot of like Doomsday players are gonna jump on the attack of the Besiege attack?
Oh, I totally recommend it. But like Doomsday, like the combo is so compact that you can basically almost build any type of Doomsday deck and probably do well because they all have something in common. That's turn 1 Dark Ritual Doomsday. But yeah, to run down the tournament from yesterday just really quickly. So if I knew that I was gonna get paired against a mono black aggro, double Boros Initiative, and 3 blue black scam decks.
This is the worst. Like, how did you make top 16?
Dude, and 1 painter deck, I would not have picked Doomsday. Oh my goodness, dude.
You couldn't pick worse matchups almost.
Seriously. Even like the first round, mono black aggro is not a good matchup. They got opposition agents and things. Boros Initiative is a coin flip matchup, so I lost 1 and 2 and then 1-2-1. And then I faced 3 different scam decks. The first one had Hymn to Turok, the second one was a Death Shadow list, and the third one had Stifles in it and Stress Downs. And dude,
so somebody got up in the morning and were like, I'm gonna beat Doomsday.
Oh, dude, like they were so prepared, right? So the good news is that I actually beat 2 of those opponents, and that totally made my day. Couldn't beat the third player, and then I also somehow managed to beat Painter. Dude, I keep losing to Magus of the Moon. Have I ever told you that?
Dude, this is like one of the main reasons why it's selling that deck.
What? Yeah, what a stinker. Oh, bro. What a stinker.
Like, I want to say Magus of the Moon is like, I almost want to say like it's more than 50% of the justification for it being in the deck is like combo decks, and it's almost like less than 50% is like just hosing random land stacks or something.
I think it always has been. Like I've always said in the Discord,
I agree.
Makes is the best anti-combo card.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. That Dark card is such a, oh my goodness.
He's a meanie.
It's especially funny like post Doomsday when they go Doomsday and you play Magus and they like it takes like 20 seconds and then they're like concede.
Oh gosh.
Nobody puts like 2 Lotus Petals in a Doomsday pile.
No, dude, never. Yeah. But it was a decent run despite those matchups. So if I knew that the metagame would look like this, I'd probably heavily change my my decision. So I was hoping, and this is based on information I have from decks that are currently doing well from Japan mostly and Magic Online, is that aggro decks like Delver decks and Scam decks are a little bit on a decline recently, especially in Japan, because you see more up the Beanstalk decks, right? And the up the Beanstalk decks with Uro, and even crazy stuff like, I don't know, like even up to Solitude maybe sometimes, Yorion.
But
all
up
these
up the Solitude.
Dude, those cards are just no bueno for Scam. Oh my goodness, dude. They just lose left and right. And so we have like a little bit of a shift there, which I didn't see yesterday in the challenge, but my hopes were that I get paired against a lot of control decks and can use Boseiju quite often, but that didn't happen yesterday. But let's see. Like, it might happen for the tournament weekend.
Yeah, there's some randomness, right?
I think, I mean, we can get to predictions in a minute, but I do think 4-color like Bean probably is the best deck in the format now, in my opinion. But I think it's kind of, it has to get out of the waters of a very open metagame otherwise. So as we saw at Four Seasons last, like there was 4-color control everywhere at the top tables after round 5 and 6. So I think that's where Doomsday will thrive once you get there. But you need to get out of the painters and the chalice decks and the moonstompies and whatnot first. So it's tough going at the beginning.
Actually, let's get into that. Basically, in a moment. I quickly want to jump. Actually,
Let's
there's
talk
not
about
really.
Painter with you.
Well, yeah, there's actually not so much. I just scrolled up back again, and there's actually not too much to say. But I think something that I've been getting a lot of questions about is my current list. And I didn't actually play that in the... Okay, let's start at the very beginning. Last episode, you guys remember I was talking about how I felt like in one of the biggest slumps of my legacy quote-unquote career ever, where I was like actually losing a lot more than I'm used to, and it felt like pretty bad. Yeah, I guess... You know, sometimes you just like turn things around. I won etc. ever since, and I top 8 the legacy challenge.
Easy. You just got to complain, and then everything goes right.
Oh yeah, actually, maybe, you know what the secret is? You stop like watching YouTube and editing a podcast on the side as you play and grind away. It's like you can't really do that when you're playing a paper event, right?
Maybe that helps. Who knows?
No, etc. was great again. I think we got like 39 people.
Nice.
39, 40 people. Like a pretty good field. Like, and whoa, like my opponents. I had to battle through like 6 Swiss rounds, I believe. Yeah, it must be 6. No, 7. No, 6, yeah.
You played all 6 as well?
I had to play against like Johannes Gutbrot, who's like the only other guy who ever won like 2 MKM Legacy main events, and also against like Mark Vogt, who still is the winner of the very last ever Legacy GP to this day. And
Mark is pretty good.
Mark is correct, as the kids say.
Yeah.
Very much so. And also the deck he played, very much correct. Because if you know Mark, you think he's going to play some 4 or 5 color control. He's going like way over the top there. We'll get to that in a moment, because that's one of my dark horse hot picks for what's it called? Eternal Weekend. I keep saying like 4 seasons or something. But yeah, this deck list that you see on MTG Top 8, that one still has Chaos Defiler in it, and I kind of want to say, I think I'm not going to play Chaos Defiler in Prague. And the reason being that I finally did the thing that I've been talking about for basically 2 or 3 months. I think Markus Ewald back in 4 Seasons recommended this to me. And then like I've been talking about this ever since, but I never really did it. And that is to add 2 copies of 4th Erlingas to the main deck of Painter. And that card has like been pulling so much weight.
I said to do it at 4 Seasons, but I didn't pull the trigger.
You didn't?
No.
Yeah, me neither. Like I kept talking about it. And I was like, come on, Julian. Like let's not be the guy who at some point is like, oh, I wish I had tried it, but I never did.
No,
it's just like
this is the reason I didn't have a proper Khan sideboard for the whole of the main event, because I'd built the deck the night before and then last minute audibled and forgot to put the things back in. So,
oh yeah, but I remember like you, not only Marcus, like Marcus and you were talking about this at first. Right?
Because I mentioned it and then Marcus tried to convince me. I had the idea already, but Marcus was trying to convince me.
Yeah. I can very much recommend it.
I didn't pull the trigger, and you did, and so props, because it looks sick, actually.
Yeah, it also feels really sick. I was wondering whether it's actually worth it, but the beautiful thing about it is, I guess the core problem for me with Painter, and also why I've been somewhat down on Painter, was that I felt like more disadvantaged against 4 and 5 color control than I used to be. Most importantly, because they have like a super hard-hitting win condition that we can't really overcome, that they can protect with Veil of Summer and our like as in 4th Erlingas. And like when you look at these deck lists, especially like Theo Francona and guys and like all the Italians, they get like 3 copies of Veil of Summer main deck. Like even if you don't put Painter on blue, like if you don't put Painter on blue, then you can't blast the 4th Erlingas. So it's like a losing battle either way. Yeah. And that kind of messed me up. So I wanted to have my own 4th Erlingas because I felt like, hey, it's gonna carry some weight maybe, but the most surprising thing to me was that it's so good in all the other matchups. It's so good. Like Kai already mentioned, like you get 4th Erlingas and Doomsday out of nowhere. You literally, I can't emphasize how good it is. Like you get down your turn on, I don't know, Painter or something or Welder, and then you randomly run it out. It gets Force of Will most of the time. That's fine. And if you don't, like in the mid game, I could have posted so many screenshots on Twitter. I actually kind of stopped myself because, I mean, people will know about it, I guess, but I didn't want to
fully though.
Yeah, I didn't want to spam it all over Twitter with like all the great screenshots about how it worked for me, because I felt like maybe that's actually giving, like, I think I'm a little bit reading too much into the reach that would have, but I kind of want to like preserve some kind of surprise factor.
So let's not talk about it on this podcast. It's going to go out to lots of people that go to Eternal Weekend.
but seriously, like 2 copies felt amazing, absolutely amazing. I didn't want a 3rd copy, but whenever I drew it, I was, because the 2 cards I cut us. I mean, you have to make some cuts, and I hate it when people are like, this list doesn't have X, Y, Z. Like, yeah, because this is 60 cards. You can go 61 if you want to. Yeah. But I cut Breyer's Apprentice, which kind of is the same slot, like the mid-range something. Yeah. I mean, there's upsides to it, especially
I
against
played without
and
Breyer's
stuff.
Apprentice for like a long time now, and it was never bad, and I kind of regret cutting it and just being used to cutting it, because I think it actually does shore up a lot. It's pretty damn good in the deck.
It's just really damn good.
It's just the 61st card all the time.
Yeah.
Always the bridesmaid is the term, isn't it?
Yeah,
and the other color cut is either one canonist, because that's the one that basically sticks out the most to me.
Yeah, it's fun.
And I've been super happy with that list lately.
Nice.
And
Do you, sorry, go on.
I was just saying, we're going to link it in the show notes. You can also probably find it on my Twitter. Well, it's also going to be on like all the MTG top 8, whatever, like where you find deck lists. But yeah, this is, I right now, I wouldn't even change anything. The only thing that's like, people are always like, oh, but the sideboard is very much built for Magic Online. I'm like, yes, it is. But I also don't really know what I would change for paper, because there's
Paper's
really
just a bit more
nothing I
random,
want.
and you've got to try and prepare for something.
Yeah, like my sideboard is like, this is a typical Julian sideboard, right? This is what a Julian sideboard would look like. It's got 4 copies of Leyline of the Void, 4 Makers of the Moon, 3 Mindbreak Trap, 2 Surgical Extraction, 1 Trinisphere, and 1 Either Swan Canonist. Also, I just realized for etc., I think they missubmitted my deck list. Okay, so don't go by the MTG top 8 deck list.
I love that sideboard though.
It's super straightforward, right?
Cool. I've got some questions which I think do get asked about the deck quite often. So just on the sideboard then, how come no Pithy Needle?
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. They
missubmitted
my deck
That's
list.
why I started there. Cool. Easy. There should be one.
So that's one of copy in the sideboard. If you go to like mtgo.com and go to deck list and stuff, like it should be there.
Tell me about the Trinisphere. Has it been good?
Yeah, Trinisphere is basically the 15th sideboard card. Like if I was only ever going to change one thing, that would be it. And so the thing about the Trinisphere is, I knew I kind of wanted that slot to cover something combo related-ish, but it didn't really need to be some hard-hitting combo hate, something that just like adds to it. But that's also like applicable in other matchups. And I noticed I've been enjoying it quite a lot against control decks. I've been enjoying it quite a lot against tempo decks. I liked it on the play. On the draw, it's like you know, like they go turn 1 Deva, turn 2 Wasteland you, and you're like turn 2 like Ancient Tomb, Lotus Petal Trinisphere. They're like, sweet. Sign me up, dude. But on the play, I've been enjoying it quite a lot. But yeah, it could, like, that's the one slot that I could be negotiated into something else. I have that luxury problem of, I actually don't know whether I want something else in the sideboard. Like,
yeah, I've had that with this deck a long time. Like, the main deck is incredibly tight and really hard to build, but the sideboard, there's always been like 2-ish slots that are like, I don't really know. I often put Thorns there, and I've liked Thorn, and I think I like it even more against the current 4-color control decks, but Trinisphere does a similar
Thorn is basically, right, you get the upside. Thorn is a lot better if you draw it, especially early on. If you, even against like combo, combo of course, but against tempo decks, like if you're on the play and you go turn 1 Thorn, like it's such a headache for them. Like they can never properly daze. Their cantrips are so bad. Their assault, quote unquote, is delayed. Like everything sucks for them. And I've been in positions. I think last time when I played in Berlin, Kai, at your Brettspiel Platz tournament, I think I played like 2 or 3 copies of Thorn, and I enjoyed those. But yeah, the Trinisphere could be a Thorn. Of course, it's a lot harder hitting. But that's, if there was one flex slot, that would be it. But I'm pretty excited for the deck. I think it's not like tier 1 busted. No. I think it's pretty good.
It has a good shot. Yeah. I got one more question though. So 4th list has been amazing. You're playing Swords main deck, right, with the white. Do you think? So, 1, are you happy with them? And 2, if you weren't, would you still splash for 4th?
Okay, so I've been very happy with Swords. Cool. Before last seasons, I was like on Team Bridge, and you were like on Team Swords, and I was like, I kind of like Bridge, but I've tried Swords afterwards, and I've liked them a lot, like so much. That I would feel like, dude, this is the way to go for the deck.
Because I'm genuinely curious, not being like, I did it. It's because
no.
I haven't been able to play anywhere near as much as you recently. So for me, playing,
it's just like the flexibility is insane. Also, like the tempo advantage and stuff. Like they play something like you can leverage your tempo in so many ways just because you got those soul lands. And if you're playing against decks that don't have soul lands, all of a sudden, like your 1-mana removal spell trading against their 1-mana thing is still like tempo positive for you. Kind of, it buys you a turn and you have a soul land.
Kind of okay even to throw a pedal for it because you're getting the mana off your mana base. To be
I'm not a big fan of doing that, but I mean, of course, there's definitely situations where it's totally worth it.
Yeah.
So would I be splashing 4th Erlingas if somehow Swords sucked or was never printed? I would guess yes, but I would probably try to. Yeah, actually no. I think I would. I would just like play it. I would
really cool to hear.
reconsider how
It's
to
almost
build the
better
mana
with.
base.
It's almost better if you play bolts over swords because it kills them more.
That's true. I mean, also it clears a block. Well, okay, so Sword Splatters also clears a block.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is also, it gives me another reason to buy those sweet Savatarix tokens next week.
Mm-hmm.
Kai,
Awesome.
how many of those tokens are you going to bring to Prague?
Oh, all of them.
1 million.
More than I can carry.
Because
This is
everyone
like-
needs like 5 or something.
This is like
I
Battle
think
for
so.
Helm's Deep, and then like Kai
I-
shows up and he like throws 10,000 tokens into the arena.
I was gonna ask you guys, like, what's the biggest 4th Erlingers you've cast so far?
Actually, not that big. I want to say like 6 or 7x.
That's still 9 mana, right?
Yeah. I mean, you get in these situations with Painter sometimes against like other mid-range decks where you completely neutralize yourself, and then
Oh
you
my
have like a
goodness.
bunch of crap cards, and like they draw like crap creatures that don't do anything, and then like, oh, 4th Erlingers, GG. And
I mean,
not
'cause
Pirate's
it-
Apprentice,
'cause
which is still a great card, but yeah.
I mean, it's gonna be a similar number to Entreaty Angels maybe from back then because the mana costs are basically the same. And all I can remember is that Miracle players used to play Entreaty Angels a lot for 4 or 5 Angels, I think. Anything below that was kind of almost soft to remove at some point because, you know, like if you if you have 2 plows, then almost all the angels are gone. And if you overcommit, then, you know, that spell might get dazed or a spell pierced or flusterstormed maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah, I saw like 4 or 5 a lot. But again, like angels are a little different than human knights. Who also crown you.
Yeah, I love that so much, dude. Dude, seriously. This is the one expensive card that I actually ordered in quite a while. But I've had the deck basically for like over a year now.
Yeah.
So I guess I didn't really need to order new stuff. But yeah, this one I very much feel for Erlingers. And yeah, has been working great for me. And I'm definitely going to play that. And so look out for it. Like, I actually had a game where I did it in the first turn, and then like you steal the initiative, and or like you don't steal the initiative, you become the monarch. I need a monarch token. Oh, Kai, you also got monarch tokens, right?
All of them.
Guy's like opening his coat. I got all of them, mate.
Got you covered, dude.
Yeah, I got them under my jacket.
Nice.
Cool. Yeah, I'm so happy for this, and I'm very much looking forward to it. So
Hell yeah.
should we jump into what we think are gonna be? I don't know. Like I hate like recommendations or like whatever. Like, what do you think the metagame is looking right now? What do you think are like sweet picks? Just open up your brain and let me know. I have a lot of thoughts. I don't know where to start. I think you guys are better at figuring out where to start.
Go on, Kai. Open up your brain.
So,
Dude, I was so hoping Callum would go for it. When he said open up your brain, I was like, uh-oh.
So generally speaking, like as always, you should probably enter the event with the deck you like and you have the most experience, blah blah blah. But if you really wanna break down the metagame, it is basically dominated by fair decks right now. I think we can all agree on. There are the Up the Beanstalk decks that all kind of look different. I want to say they're 4-colored, 5-colored, sometimes even 3-colored, and play things like Uro. Leyline Binding is really common. You don't really see expressive prismatic ending that often anymore.
Yeah, actually true. Like a lot of times it's just like a 2-off or something.
Right. So maybe like a little bit of a hidden info there is like if your deck supports enchantment removal in any way, just consider playing more of them, or maybe eventually in your main deck, because having answers to resolved Leyline Binding is not terrible. And I'm specifically looking at cards like Boseiju Who Endures, for example, in green decks. That's a pretty cool thing. Also, that card also made a few decks in the metagame just like strictly worse, such as Sneak and Show, for example, where just show and tell in a Leyline Binding, and that's actually pretty terrible if your opponent has not an Atraxa.
Like, Sneak and Show doesn't really like, for as big as it's been in Legacy for like decades, it's not really that much of a thing. Like, did Shapier recently play it? Like,
Yeah,
that's usually
he played it yesterday in a challenge, and and after that he tweeted like, yeah, I think I'm gonna get the all access token to actually build a competitive deck. And whenever he says something like that, it's okay, well, I think it's probably not in the best spot right now.
Yeah, Scam is just so good against it, right?
Oh, it's probably abysmal. Yeah. But
Dude,
right,
I'm actually trying to see the last Legacy Challenge top 8 Shapier got is like almost half a year ago with Sneak Show.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
I got to be honest, I'm not going to cry for that deck.
oh no.
Cry for me, Emrakul.
But yeah, loads of Beanstalk soup decks, even all the way up to Yorion. And then you see a variety of tempo decks, B, Grixis Delver, Rock Delver, Blue-Black Scam, oh gosh, Death Shadow, like the list goes on and on.
Death Shadow, honestly, I kind of feel like that's I don't know, like a lie or something. Like, people always talk about Death Shadow still being around, and I always feel like, no, it isn't. Like, I never run into it, I don't see it, nobody streams it. Well, maybe somebody does and I didn't notice, but...
like a few months ago, it was a pretty even mix of Shadow and Scam, while people were working out Scam, and now I think the consensus has been Scam is a bit better, and it's such an easy transition for most people that they've all been like, okay, I'm going to play Scam as well.
Oh, just got those underground seas. And
I mean, I guess online is more realistic. Maybe there's more Shadow and Paper, because it is closer to a budget deck. It's not budget, but it's much closer than 4 UCs.
Exactly.
I think you actually made a really good point about like the metagame being pretty fair, right? There's not really anything that sticks out as like, oh, this is the big combo threat you got to be ready for. Like, what's the closest to like a proper combo? Like, not a random combo deck like Painter that also just like happens to sometimes kill you. It's like a, I don't know, Storm A+B combo. I guess Painter is A+B, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
right?
I think the best combo decks is either like kind of Tony Scapone, PO, Grim Monolithy stuff, or Black Saga Storm. I think is still very good.
What about Doomsday?
It's actually pretty terrible. I
Yeah.
I mean, if you have no other choice, then you should probably run it. But in this metagame, not very good. It's because Scam is actually almost impossible to defeat. It's almost worse than the Blue-Red Ragavan Expressive Iteration deck, because they attack your hand so much, and they have counter magic, and their clock is just ridiculously fast. And they have Bowmaster. I think the only upside is that they don't have Lightning Bolt.
Yeah.
Watch them splash for it.
Yeah. But
I mean, Grixis Selva is also a deck, and they do have Lightning Bolt.
exactly. But you have this kind of like nice pair, I want to say, of like the tempo decks that keep all the combo decks in check, and then you have the control decks, the up the Beanstalk decks that are really good versus those tempo decks, but they don't even need to dedicate to combo decks all that much, because all the scan decks already take care of those combo decks, right? So you have like a little bit of like a balance there, and then obviously you have like the Ancient Tomb decks, which kind of
Which are just like broken.
Yeah, like, I mean, they kill everything anyway, so...
Honestly, there's actually so many broken combo decks with, like, the Ancient Tomb. Like, I mean, we already talked about Painter, and there's, like, way more broken stuff. For example, Turbo Goblins. That's actually the deck I lost to in the Romari Vidal, shoutouts to him, and the quarterfinals of the last challenge. There's, what else is there? There's, you already mentioned Tony Scapone's deck. I think the one I like more is Sur's MTG's Paradox Engine deck, which is, like, completely, like, colorless. And
deck
that's
is very
even more
powerful
explosive.
Goes
It's
under the
slightly-
radar, I think, a lot.
Yeah. It's somewhat less resilient. I guess it still plays, I would guess, like 3 or 4 copies of Defense Grid.
Yeah.
And that deck was so impressive. Like, I played against it a couple of times, and, like, I regularly got, like, smashed on the second turn.
It's brutally powerful. Like, you just feel like you have absolutely no shot. It can kill you turn 1. It's pretty consistent turn 2, 3 kill. It can pivot into huge constructs and stuff. But what draws me to Tony's kind of builds is, I think if a combo deck can support Force of Will well, it's such a hugely powerful angle to have that you are happy to like give up a whole turn's worth of speed for. So I do think Tony's deck is very good. I think part of his success is that he's also ridiculously good with his decks and combo decks, but I do think Black Saga Storm is actually pretty strong as well. And I think the combo decks are good. It's just a tough metagame for it. And I think we'll see more in paper than online. Online does gravitate to a lot of this like Scam and Grixis Tempo. And
I think
this,
about the Black Saga Storm deck it's so annoying to play against, because you never really know whether you're playing against like the fast combo side of it, whether you're playing against the gacha with like Dark Ritual into opposition agent side of the deck. Sometimes they just like get you with regular fair beats and what's the name, Shieldred and that kind of stuff.
Shield,
and you kept the hand
agent,
that has like,
whatever.
I don't know, like Graveyard Hate, and I'm not even sure if I'm supposed to bring in Graveyard Hate against them, but then they kill me with Gaia Swirl. It's like so many angles of attack, and it's just like fucking annoying to play against. And
I agree.
it does that thing, like if your hate and what they do overlap, then you get to play the game. But if it doesn't overlap, you get smashed. And that's usually what I'm looking for in a deck.
Yeah, I mean, like, how stupid do you feel with like a Surgical or a Leyline in play, and then they just like Bowmasters into opposition agent you.
Like I could write an essay about that. I'm very, very stupid.
Yeah. And yeah, there's like mono black helm is another variation as well. I just think
But that kind of fell off, right?
It has fallen off a bit as well, for sure. I'm just mentioning how different these versions can be.
True. Yeah, Oh yeah. And you don't know immediately. That's true.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So
I
what
think,
about 8cast?
I think 8cast is really good. Really, really good.
I agree.
I think it's played quite a lot, and people obviously know it very well, and it's very respected, and it kind of goes in and out of the format. But
It's also surprisingly cheapish to build. I think there's no
it's always very
resource
popular on
discount.
paper, but it's really damn good, this deck. So I think we've talked about it a little bit between the three of us. We're kind of in a consensus that it's not a sleeper, because I think people do say it's close tier 1, if not tier 1.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't be surprised to see like at least one in each of the Eternal Weekend top 8s or something.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess there's a couple more decks. One thing I want to quickly talk about, just so everybody's on the same page for this, the 4 and 5 color control decks. In my mind, and tell me if I'm wrong, I feel like there's basically like 3 ways that people build them, and I only really like one of them. So one of them is your engine is the One Ring. The other one is your engine is Beanstalk. And the third one is you got the One Ring and Beanstalk and Yorion to make it work.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
Yep.
Which one of those do you like?
I like Beanstalk.
I'm also a big fan of Beanstalk. I mean, 2 mana is like, this is not modern, right? Like we have things like Dazed and Wasteland, and I don't know.
It almost feels like when I play against a deck and they get like the turn to Beanstalk, it almost feels like there's a clock ticking, like a countdown, where I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna remove the Beanstalk. I already know that. I'm not gonna like play Painter Blast the Beanstalk. Like, come on.
Yeah. I'm just gonna say, actually, I'm gonna change my thing. My version is whatever Angelo Cadea is playing. That's my answer.
Okay, well, Angelo's like super greedy, right?
So maybe he plays both. Does he play Yorion?
I think Angelo's not a Yorion player.
No,
no.
Both without Yorion.
Yeah, I think so, actually.
Yeah, I think he plays both without Yorion, and he has like 4th Erlingas and like 3. Isn't that like kind of similar to a list that? No, Sea of Francona is playing Yorion in the sideboard, right?
In the sideboard?
Sure.
No,
I mean, better in the
yesterday.
sideboard than in the main deck, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you could side it in.
Zeo's, but I think they're quite similar. So maybe Angelo's on Yorion now. I'm not sure. I'm guessing, but I'm going to say whatever the Italians are playing then.
Yeah, and what I want to like deduce from that is decks that I don't like, and I put this in the show notes already. Decks that I used to like that I don't like right now are mid-range decks that have no real plan when they get punched in the face with 4th Erlingas. Like, they don't have a plan before it, they don't have a plan after it. And I know we've seen some mid-range, like, dude, I don't want to say it, but come on, Maverick. You know? I mean, actually, I would need to change. I would need to check, because Maverick might have a plan against it if they like go pretty hard on God Octique and stuff. So that could actually be a thing. And I could actually see those other decks, those 4-color decks, almost struggling, because you actually think about it. Like, you can't 4th Erlingas. You cannot Prismatic Ending God Octique. You cannot, Leyline Binding it. And there's another card I forgot about that you can't do to it. It's surprisingly, I don't want to say untouchable, but they don't really, I guess, okay, here's the thing. They might still have 2 copies of Dress Down.
Yes, so I can back your story up here, because there was a really cool game yesterday for the win-in for the top 8 at LM yesterday. There was Jamie Hardy, who was helping me run it. Thanks again, Jamie. He was on pure green white depths with Legolas's quick reflexes, which is quite cool. And he was against Daniel, who top 8'd then with 4 colors. So spoilers. Jamie got to surgical the swords and then land a Galactique. And
that used to be lights out against that kind of deck.
So he was like, he just didn't draw lands at all. He played almost the whole game with 2 lands in play and slowly attacking and not attacking into endurance sometimes, while his opponent Daniel got a ring up to like 6 or 7 counters or something, played a new one.
I guess he had already resolved one.
Yeah, he drew about
you can't
60
do that
cards.
through God Octique.
Oh yeah, sorry, he did it.
Oh, he just cheated. Okay.
No. He had one already and got up to like high, and then he was going through his whole deck, and then he said, "Sorry, Jamie, it's taking ages, but I have an out." And so Jamie was trying to like, because the ring was on 5. That was it. Sorry, the ring was on 5, and the Gallic was attacking for 2, but he kept playing an Uro and then escaping it, which would then like get bounced to the Caracas after crop rotation, and then he would like endurance the Uro away, blah blah blah. So the game was going on forever, and then he finally found the one Dress Down left in the deck that got to kill the Galactique. But he was discarding like 7 or 8 cards to hand size every turn. While it was pretty wild. I don't know. But the Galactique stopped like his whole deck. He said at one point he had 7 cards in hand and he couldn't cast a single one. So yeah, Galactique is good. There we go.
Now you actually make me wonder which other decks could play Galactique.
Yeah, it's
any Green Sun deck,
Yeah.
Zenith deck, even the Golgari Fiend Artisan deck, for example, like they don't even
totally.
play a single Savannah, but they just still splash it. It's cool because if you play the Halfling,
uncounterable.
you can cast Galactique, cannot get
counter,
countered. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Dude, I love the play of Circling the Sword so much.
Yeah.
No, as you guys said, like I think Galactique is actually excellent right now because it's also really good versus Besiege the Mirror.
Yep.
Like these cards you see a lot these days. So
Galactique is the best it's been since like 5 years ago, I think.
Holy smokes.
Yeah. Cool. Sorry, Julian, carry on.
No, I was just like working my way through my thoughts, and that's actually pretty cool. So I guess so they do have a plan, at least those Maverick style decks. That's pretty cool.
Protect Galactique, basically.
Protect the king, or whatever. Like what is he, a Kithkin? Like who's the ruler of a Kithkin? They have like special names, right?
Okay.
Somebody is gonna let us know in the comments.
Kip
But
forward.
okay, here's something I learned at the last etc. because I played against Mark in the I think semi-finals, and I also watched him before, and I talked to him because Mark Vogt is very much known for like back then miracles, what have you, control. And Mark said, that's just like too much control. Like, dude, if Mark says there's too much control, like whoa, like all your like alerts across all platforms go off, and you have to like I don't know silence them or whatever. And yeah, he's on. Well, I don't know if he's gonna be on 12 post for Eternal Weekend, but he seemed very convinced of 12 post being really good. And watching him play and etc. Holy shit! Like did he get out of the craziest situations? Like he was facing like the hardest boards to overcome. Like the opponent had like I think a couple of Rhinos and Minsc and Boo and Blood Moon, and like he had literally nothing. He had just like a bunch of lands, and he still won that game, and like in ways that seemed completely unthinkable to me. And I was so impressed by that deck. And I think the main deck is pretty much what True Futurism is playing, who's like basically the go-to guy for 12 post. Mark slightly switched up the sideboard. I can't really speak too much to that. Like what's actually like whether you want 3 Force of Vigor or 4 Force of Vigor, like 3 Dismember, 2 Dismember, what have you. And I very much want to recommend that deck. Really just going by what I've seen in that tournament and like how much that kind of deck would probably smash a lot of decks if it gets to do its thing. And I guess a big part of that is the 4 Elfer Spirit Guides. Like Mark was like, this is such a broken card, we really need it. And it's just like for the extra speed. Even though I've seen some people not playing it, but this is... I don't know, it's kind of hard. Like we've all seen 12 post play, but 12 post with Ring was like crazy on 2 levels. Like the one level is you get the extra cards, which is like a pretty big deal, and you pretty much are guaranteed the extra turn, and you can play the Ring on turn 3 like reasonably reliably, right, by going like turn 2 or even like turn 1 post, and then you get it down on the 3rd turn, which close to guarantees that you get a 4th turn, and then you can go crazy. And also I've seen him go down to like 1 life and end the game at 32 life or something, like completely broken stuff. And yeah, I'm pretty convinced that this is a very strong deck to pick as long as you like figure out what you want from the sideboard. Oh, by the way, the Carpet of Flowers in sideboard, there's 4 copies of Carpet of Flowers in sideboards. Those were bonkers. And he didn't not only bring them in against like tempo decks, he also brought them in against, okay, I guess Teemo Rhinos is still kind of like a tempo deck, but that Carpet's really carried. Like that under Blood Moon, those Carpets, they gave him like all the mana he needed.
Yeah, I
Like
bet.
he basically won the game based on Carpet under Blood Moon.
The deck is...
Yeah, that's sick. Like I think this deck has a lot of good matchups and then almost the same amount of like really bad matchups, right? Like this deck just cannot beat combo decks, I think. Like we see like 2 Mindbreak Traps in the sideboard and 2 Veil of Summers, but like realistically speaking, like this really isn't enough to stop a combo deck.
But I guess he would like Doomsday is a horrible matchup for this, right?
Oh, totally. Yeah. So like
but
this
but
deck,
other than that,
yeah, this deck completely profits from the current metagame, right? Because Scam is taking care of all the combo decks. So the Mono Green Cloudbows has basically all the time and all the tools to do whatever they want.
Yeah. The thing is also like, don't underestimate like the One Ring, making it so that your combo deck is not gonna kill you on the third turn or the fourth turn, like depending. Even like with every Spirit Guides, it might even be like a second turn ring. Like if you go turn 1 Cloud Post, turn 2 like what's it called, Glimmer? No, the life gain thingy.
Yeah, Glimmer and Elvish Spirit Guide works.
Yeah, something like that. And then you untap and you draw like, by that you've drawn like 3 cards off the ring and stuff. And
it also has 4 endurance main, I think. So it like has
this
some.
one got 1 copy.
Okay, fine. Then maybe a sideboard.
But yeah, I agree. Like that you don't want to go up against stuff like Storm Combo. That's why I think he's only got like 2 copies of Mindbreak Trap. I think the True Futures list might have had like 2 or like 3 or 4. I don't know. But I mean, it's also like I guess it's a conscious choice.
It's a nice metagame call because I mean he's obviously choosing it because combo is down and control is everywhere, as he said. So he's like, right, well, if I go into combo, I have to get a bit lucky to win. But yeah.
Also, like those control mirrors, like we've seen it in 4 seasons, right? When Niv played and stuff, like those 4 color mirrors, they are pretty rancid, right?
Yeah.
I mean, come on, like look at that. Like we've seen so many matches where it came down to like 2 cards left in the library, both players like on 7 or 8 cards, and then like activate ring, draw to 14. Okay, let's Yu-Gi-Oh it out.
I kind of think if you take ring out of the equation, I think the macro sculpting your hand to the perfect thing to work to win, like at the last moment you can after you've sculpted the perfect thing, while maintaining enough protection to not die to your opponent. I think it's kind of cool and interesting.
I think it's cool when it's a little deeper, but a lot of times it's not very deep. Like people are like, oh, I need to make decisions, but most of the time you like make your land drops and cast your cantrips, and you don't really actively go for too much of crazy stuff. Like sometimes people fight over a couple of flowers.
In the control mirror, there's a big whole thing of evaluating your position, because Pyroblast and Veil are amazing at protecting your forces, but they don't stop Fourth itself or the ring or Uro. I mean, Pyroblast stops Uro, but Veil doesn't then. So there is a lot of posturing, and things can snowball. So cantripping just to hit your land drops while maintaining enough protection, seeing windows and stuff, I think they're pretty hard to play. And I think a better player will very often win. But you could just herp dirt, turn 3 4th for 1 token and get the Monarch and then just protect it as well. So
you know what I want to see in those decks?
Yeah, I know.
You know, what kind of used to be a card that people were at least considering to get the upper hand when these like mirrors got that crazy?
Pearl Lake Ancient.
Oh, guys, I'm
sorry, what?
Pearl Lake Ancient.
Oh, dude, what a legend.
What a card.
No. I was actually thinking about Emrakul, the Promised Land.
Oh my god, yeah.
Oh gosh, yeah.
That's a cool card.
We saw it in Modern a few times.
Yeah, you basically win if you ever play it. Like you take your opponent's next turn, like there's just like no way they can recover from that.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything to do there.
I sometimes saw it brought up back like during some miracle times where
I played it in Miracles for a bit.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. But then I realized Cavern of Souls is just better.
For Mentor? Or what,
yeah,
what
exactly.
Okay. Oh, those were the super broken times, okay.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Okay. Well, yeah, I guess... Actually, I'm the only one of us playing the main event, right?
I'm getting so much FOMO. Oh, I might look at flights soon.
Dude, okay, so we still have 1 bad left because we somehow we kept the bad for you. But actually, like, no, that's not on you. That was like a mistake on our part. So if you want to come on short notice, we still have a bet for you.
I think it's very, very unlikely, but I'm going to look at flights after this.
If you do, just like hit me
but
up.
I'm getting the FOMO. I'm just putting it out there. I'm getting the FOMO.
Okay,
I've got other plans as well, but yeah.
But other than that, like I think, you got the power of all us 3 for the main event. Holy smokes!
Yeah.
You better do
so
something
much pressure.
about it. Yeah.
Oh, to drop GG.
No pressure. No pressure.
Okay, cool, guys. So, what do you think? Like, what's a hypothetical top 8? Like, what do you think?
We haven't mentioned Boris Initiative, but I think everyone's kind of agreeing it's a tier 1 deck.
Yes.
It's basically like the second most important deck in the format, other than Blue Black Scam.
Yeah.
This is probably the deck I want to recommend to all the good Magic players who don't play a lot of Legacy. Is probably just pick up Boros Initiative. This deck is not very difficult to pilot. It is crazy strong, and you also don't need a lot of format knowledge, I want to say, because the initiative mechanic is just so utterly broken.
So you say this is for the good Magic players who don't play a lot of Legacy.
Actually, you don't even have to be good. No, just
I was gonna say,
just scratch that.
What about the bad Magic players who do play a lot of Legacy?
I was wrong. All right. So if you're a normal human being who doesn't play a lot of Legacy, but maybe play a lot of Drafts or Sealed or whatever, please pick up Boros Initiative. You also don't get a lot of headaches of like Oakish Bowmasters and Up the Beanstalk, because like none of those cards really matter.
Did you see that crazy initiative list that Tulio Chordi played in the most recent Legacy Challenge.
Yeah, it's like Fast Humans.
Fast Humans.
Yeah.
why are we so bad at naming decks? Fast Humans. That's like an auto-translate or something.
I'm pretty sure he said that on Twitter, like as a joke name.
Oh, okay.
Or
Maybe
someone
it's gonna
said
stick.
it.
Sometimes it's so bad it actually sticks. Yeah, what makes it Fast Humans is, I guess, 4 copies of Brutal Cathar, which
This
is
card's
like
really good.
it's a 2/2 human soldier werewolf for 2 colorless and a white. When it enters the battlefield or transforms into Brutal Cathar, exile target creature an opponent controls until this creature leaves the battlefield. And it's stay bound. So if you play like 2 spells in a single turn, or the opponent, it flips.
It's what is on its front side. If there's no spells cast on a turn, then
that's how it goes. Yeah, if nobody plays a spell for a turn, then it flips into a 3/3 with first strike, ward, pay 3 life. And then if you play like 2 spells, then it flips back and you get to kill another creature.
Yeah.
Kinda exile another creature,
Yeah.
I guess. Okay. I guess I can see it. Then there's like 2 copies of Boromir, which is basically like the hate bear everybody seems to try and make work, I guess.
This
It's
card's
2 colorless and
I think
a
it's good.
white, 3/3 vigilance. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, if no mana was spent to cast it, counter the spell. I think that's an insane ability right now. That's really good. And you can sacrifice it, and creatures you control gain indestructible end of turn. The ring tempts you. I think the indestructible part is less important right now. People don't really destroy these days, right? It's all about like exiling shit.
Yeah.
But it's still like a semi Lavinia creature.
Yeah, it's also like a 3
Right.
mana, 3/3 vigilance. Like,
And it'll win combats. Like there is combat in Legacy sometimes.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Also, like for a moment, I was like, "Who the fuck is Greymond Everson Starward?" No, guess what? It's our old favorite, Rick Steadfast Leaders back in format. Can't win the tournament without it, apparently.
Yeah.
I mean, what I especially love about this deck is actually what I would do if I was playing Initiative at 4 seasons. Me personally, I don't know if it's right. There's a lot of better players of Initiative than me, but I would play 4 Source of Plowshares over Chalice of the Void in the deck.
Oh, 100%.
And that's what he's doing. Because it's not a normal thing, and I kind of appreciate that I don't have the experience everyone else does, but I think the deck just benefits from swords better, especially in this metagame. And this is where Tulio has done this, cut chalices and playing 4 swords main deck.
Yeah, I don't hate it. Also makes it easier to keep the initiative, easier to gain the initiative.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was always an advocate of this when like White Plume was legal as well. So I still think it's true here, especially now because you just got to kill Murktides and trolls and stuff. You just they're so big, they kill you so fast. You've got to kill these big creatures. And there's no solitude.
Yeah, overall, like initiative feels really good. The interesting thing here is this is very much like super creature heavy, right? We got 24 creatures. Or maybe it isn't. I don't know. Like we're playing the. Actually, it probably is because here's the thing. A lot of times when I played the deck, I felt that Fable of the Mirror Breaker was like really good. Whenever I saw it missing from the deck, I felt like, no, it should be in there. And I liked it over the Anointed Peacekeeper. But I can at least appreciate the ideas that I really get my creatures down, and I got my Swords of Plowshares down to clear the path and just get in there. So this almost feels like, I mean, this is the quintessential Stompy deck, kind of. So you're literally trying to get the creatures. Like this is like 20 years ago, we used to like get Albino Troll and River Boar and Wild Dogs and that kind of shit. And I mean, this is the same idea pretty much.
If
you know what I mean.
It's more like an aggro deck in a way.
Yeah, it's like a Merfolk deck.
It's an aggro deck,
the blue, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. It's like a Merfolk Stompy deck.
Yeah.
We're talking about
a Merfolk
Boros
Stompy deck, dude. Oh man,
Not aggro,
one
Merfolk
day,
Stompy.
dude. I'm telling you, like guys, like one day I want to see Lord of Atlantis and Ancient Tomb in the same deck. I want to see it.
Oh well, there's another episode to be. I think. Yeah,
I have seen it happen, but under very weird
right,
circumstances.
the OG Stompy idea, just like undercost the creatures and shit. But
Yeah.
I mean, it's all coming full circle again here. So very, very good. Like
I'm
Boros,
quite surprised
honestly,
there's
we're probably going to
no
see quite a bit of Boros.
Archon in here. I totally get that
Yes.
they're all humans and there's 4 Cavern of Souls, but Archon is just always so good in this deck. Like it just solos so many
Archon is
games in my
really good,
experience.
yeah.
I'm sure I think Tulio's done well in a challenge before this, so they have experience with the deck, obviously, and then they've brewed this up. But Archon is just like to play against as well. It's just so brutal sometimes. It just completely wins games on its own. So in a deck with like Chromoxes and Lotus Petals and Ancient Tombs and City, I just want 4 of that card.
But there's also like this situation that you encounter quite a bit where you have like Cavern of Souls and you got Ancient Tomb and you got Arcane and a bunch of humans and you're like, this is my only white source. I hate this so much. And if you're on the draw, it's even more awkward because then you feel like, oh, yeah, not gonna work. But yeah, I agree. Like I'm a big Arcane fan because I've lost to it so many times.
Yo, what up?
Yo, so Callum is back. We just lost all of Great Britain. He made it to what's the next harbor, Calais or something?
Yeah, I'm the only English person left, and the whole world rejoices.
Dude,
Yeah.
you gotta carry like what do you call it? Union Jack, right? That's what you call your flag.
I'm
going
to be a different country. It's okay. I'm going to be. England is dead. We will move on.
Oh, didn't you enjoy Wales so much?
That's okay.
Yeah,
There are
Wales
like
and
so many-
Scotland are fine.
Yeah. Like so many other
Can you
nice
actually speak
countries.
some Welsh?
Hmm?
Can you speak some Welsh?
No.
Yo coffee something. All the Welsh I ever learned, I learned from Ali G.
All goy goth. I remember with that. I know exactly what you're talking about. All goy goth.
Did I actually tell you that I've been to Wales once?
No.
Like Kai is the only one on this podcast who has never been to
What a
Wales.
loser. God.
Yeah, seriously.
Sorry.
Yeah, and I even I went to deep downtown Wales, like not Cardiff or Swansea or something.
I remember the allergy thing. It's about chicken.
Yeah. Yo, okay, guys. I think we were pretty much closing it out at this point. We were talking about. By the way, I want to give one shout out to Rock Questing Druid because I played that deck quite a bit lately, and I've been enjoying it quite a lot. The thing about the deck is though, it always feels like the kind of deck that's like gonna end up top 16ing this kind of event, and not like. I mean, that's just like half bullshit because of course like if you're capable of top 16 in the event you're also capable of winning the event. It just feels like it sometimes it lacked the oomph in the end.
Mhm.
Like,
You're saying it's like a mid-high tier 2 deck, and I think that sounds right.
yeah.
Like, I would put it as a solid tier B deck. I
No, you
think.
need to be trashing it, Kai, after our conversation about Questing Druid.
Oh, dude.
You know, it's like even really good in Vintage now.
Oh, God damn it. Come on.
Anyway,
Don't do this to me.
So give me some kind of prediction. Like if some of us gets it right, they win some sick bragging rights or maybe something else. Like who is like not? You can either name a player to win the tournament, or you can name like 2 decks.
all right, I'm going to go with, I think 3 4-color controls is going to be in there. One of them I think is going to be Angelo Cadet.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's going to be 1 Grixis Delver. I think there's going to be 1 Boris Initiative. I think there's going to be 1 Lands. I think there's going to be 1 8 cost. Is that 8?
Dude, I was gonna. You almost stole my prediction. Kinda.
Yeah, that's not too bad. I think I'll probably scratch one of the control decks and add like one. I don't know, some weird Ancient Tomb Storm deck. I think to the top 2, like be it a paradox engine deck or be it a Tony Scarponi special or a Besiege Storm deck. Like one of those archetypes is definitely gonna be up there.
You've got to have hope.
Yeah,
Okay.
like you probably don't see a lot of people playing this deck, but it's so hard to hate, and people are just so focused on beating each other that this deck might just slip through.
Okay. So for me, I'm definitely gonna put in 1 reanimator because you always have to put in 1 reanimator for these kinds of events.
Oh, I'm going to say there's no Reanimated top 16.
There's no
There you
reanimator
go.
top
Just
16.
to
I
be
don't
opposite to you.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, I'm gonna say that's gonna be 1 in the top 8.
Okay.
There's gonna be 3 or 4 copies of 4-color control mishmash, and I agree. Angelo and or Theo Francona are gonna be there because like Theo has been like on a run basically. There's gonna be 2 copies of Blue-Black Action Scam at most, like 1 or 2 copies. There's probably gonna be like actually let's say 1 or 2 copies of Tempo. I don't think Lance is gonna be there, just like that. Unless you're like Travis, you like your brain is gonna like I don't know bleed out before you make it to.
This is why I've said
how
1
many rounds
Lands
are we gonna
because
play?
I think Lands is very good in this metagame, but has to be played
That's true,
exceptionally
that's true.
well. So I do think like Lands is not a good pick with that much experience, but I think it's very good right now.
Mm-hmm. And then I think somebody's gonna get in on some kind of like weird, maybe even a painter deck. Could be a painter, could be an 8-cast, something Ancient Tombish. I think I already named Boros Initiative. Yeah, but some kind of like deck that people don't necessarily know how to play against. So maybe it's Callum Pile that we talked about in the beginning of the episode.
With all love and respect to that beautiful deck, which it is awesome, it's not top 8ing until the weekend. And if it does,
It's gonna be the
this is
perfect
going to be a
soundbite.
brilliant soundbite. Exactly.
Exactly, yeah. And you know who's actually gonna win the tournament?
Brian.
Some dude on Sneak and Show.
Oh god damn it.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think with that, we're gonna close it out. If you want to support the running of the show, guys, you can do that on patreon.com/everydayeternal, or you can leave a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. And we'll jump back into the booth next time after we actually find out who's gonna be the one to take it down with Sneak Show. And yeah, I think
Or
everybody,
it's
if you
marked
see us
with
in,
post.
Huh?
Or it could be marked with post.
that could actually be it.
I think that's
but
a
Mark,
really good
Mark
dark
also
horse.
like he posted some other weird decks on Twitter the other day, like 4 main decks submerge
Oh, yeah.
with like 4 copies of. Actually, what happened to that Cascade deck?
I played.
It's been under the radar.
I've played like 2 more leagues, and they all go 3-2. I think.
It's a typical 3-2 deck.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well.
Bummer.
So with that, we're really looking forward. Actually, I was looking for the camera around. Dude, I've been doing too much casting. I was like, where's the camera? Where do I close it out? No, so say hello. Kai is going to have a booth at Eternal Weekend. He's going to sign all your cards, everything you want. And I'm also going to be there after I've dropped O2, and we have a great time. So thank you so much, especially, and good luck to our Eternal Witness tier Patreons, Colin Garassi, Alex Crow, Tim Everett, Testacular, Sebastian Holager, Guillaume, Sean Dewey, Francis Kauper, Cassandra Davis, Tom Tischka, Benedikt Gruber, and Severin Schwarzhuber, and our Grizzlebrand tier supporters, of whom I don't know how many are gonna be there for the main event: Scott Monroe, Tom Happ, Kane, Ian Seifert, and Colonoscopy. With that, everybody have a great time, and see you again after the European Eternal Weekend. Bye bye.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.